You know, a leader's state of mind is never really just their own, is it? It's more like a stone dropped in a pond. Their internal world creates these ripples, and those ripples wash over their entire organization. So today, we're going to follow those ripples. We're going to uncover how a simple act of presence can become an incredibly powerful leadership strategy.
When you picture a great leader, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it big speeches, charisma, a bold vision? We usually focus on all the external stuff. But what if we've got it a little backward? What if their most powerful tool isn't what they do, but how they are? What if their greatest strength is simply their presence? It's a really profound idea, so let's unpack it.
And the whole idea hinges on this concept, mindfulness. Now, according to John Kabat-Zinn, who really pioneered its use in the West, it's all about paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, and this is the key part, without judgment. So this isn't about emptying your mind or anything like that. It's just about being fully aware of what's actually happening, both in your head and all around you.
Now, just so we're clear, this isn't some fringe idea. We're talking about absolute titans of industry here. Leaders like the legendary Steve Jobs, Ray Dalio from Bridgewater, Mark Benioff at Salesforce, they've all been huge advocates. And it's not just individuals, major corporations. I'm talking General Mills, Ford. They're building mindfulness right into their leadership training. They're doing it for one reason. They see a real strategic advantage.
Okay, so how does this whole thing actually work? Well, that very first ripple, it begins inside the leader's own mind. And look, we're not just talking about a change in attitude here. We're talking about a change in actual biology.
Yeah, it sounds pretty incredible, but the research is totally clear on this. Practicing mindfulness can physically alter your brain. This is not about just feeling better. It's a real physiological transformation that actually strengthens the cognitive functions that are absolutely essential for good leadership.
And these changes are incredibly specific. For example, take the prefrontal cortex. That's kind of like your brain's CEO, right? It handles decision-making, while mindfulness strengthens it, which leads to better focus and judgment. Then there's the amygdala, our emotional alarm system. Mindfulness helps calm that down, which means less stress. It even enhances the hippocampus, which improves your memory and resilience. These are literally the core building blocks of leadership, and they're being rewired through this practice.
So, what happens next? That internal ripple, all those changes in the brain, it starts moving outward pretty fast. It becomes the second ripple, and you see it in how a leader acts, and, maybe most importantly, in the quality of their decisions.
The management scientist Herbert Simon, he put it perfectly. He said that at its core, management is decision-making. Think about it. A leader's entire performance is basically tied to the quality of the choices they make, day in and day out.
So here's the crucial link. Being in a mindful, present state helps leaders avoid these really common cognitive traps, like the sunk cost bias. You know that feeling where you have to keep pouring money or time into a failing project just because you've already invested so much? Mindfulness helps you detach and see the present reality. It also helps counter our natural negative bias, letting you weigh all the information more fairly. It's simple. Better awareness leads to better decisions, which leads to better outcomes.
And that ripple, it just keeps spreading. A leader's mindful actions and clear decisions, they start to shape the very fabric of their team and the culture of the entire organization.
This brings us straight to another really important idea, authentic leadership. You see, when a leader is truly present and self-aware, they can act with integrity. Their values, their words, and their actions all line up. And that authenticity, that becomes the bedrock of trust.
The very first step in building that kind of authentic connection is empathy. And this isn't just about, feeling sorry for someone. It's the ability to genuinely perceive and understand your employees' emotions. A mindful leader, someone who isn't constantly distracted, can listen so much more deeply and connect on a real human level.
And what happens when there's genuine empathy? Trust starts to flourish. When employees feel truly understood and respected, they develop what's called interpersonal trust in their leader. And that trust is the glue. It's what holds high-performing teams together.
So this brings us to the final and the widest ripple, the one that has the power to transform the entire work environment. We're talking about the ultimate impact of mindful leadership, the creation of psychological safety.
Psychological safety is basically the belief that you won't get punished or humiliated for speaking up, whether it's with ideas, questions, or even mistakes. It's that feeling that it's safe to take risks with each other.
Honestly, this is the secret ingredient for real innovation, collaboration, and learning in any organization.
So here it is, the whole chain reaction laid out. It starts with the leader practicing mindful communication. From there, empathy and trust start to grow. That, in turn, creates a culture of high psychological safety. And the result? An organization that outperforms and out-innovates the competition. And it all started with just one person's presence.
So let's be really clear about this. Mindfulness is not just some personal wellness hack. It is a critical leadership competency. It transforms from a simple internal practice into a powerful strategic advantage for the whole organization.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. As you move forward in your own careers, this choice is going to be yours. Your presence, your focus, your awareness, it all matters so much more than you might think. So the question is, what kind of ripple will you choose to create?